This is our paranormal podcast because this is our paranormal community, and we want to support you here on RU Media Network. We are proud to be sponsored by the Haunted Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. Here are your hosts, Brian Mersall and Sean Gilmore.
Hey everybody, welcome to our paranormal podcast. Man, you guys can see I'm slacking a little bit on that intro. My bad. I was jamming out to that timer music.
Yeah.
The only people who are going to hear it are the people who are actually listening to the Spreaker end of things, because StreamYard blocks my microphone out, but StreamYard doesn't. I didn't notice it until just now when I was going along with the music, and the sound bar was moving. I was like, "Oh shoot, I forgot about that."
Oh no!
So you people who listen to the replay or who are listening to it live on the podcast, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Oh man, guys, it has been a crazy week. Real quick, I want to introduce Chris Rowand. He's a good old friend of mine, back from the EVP days, EctoVision Paranormal days, and before, where we were doing Spirit Valley Paranormal. And we worked a little bit on OMPR together, and we're going to talk more about that because that's Chris's current team. But first, I need to make a huge shout out, guys. A huge shout out, because something huge happened to me on a personal level. My daughter was invited to do this like amazing young. I'm sorry, I don't have the documents in front of me. It's the Young Leaders Convention in Washington, D.C., right? It is so super expensive, and we just were not financially prepared for this really expensive opportunity, but we wanted her to be able to take advantage of this opportunity. And so we're like moving our finances around, like, what can we do? The biggest thing was that we also have to get my daughter braces this year. Anyone has kids, they know how many thousands of dollars those are. And so it's just like, well, this is our savings, and so we had a choice. And the choice we ended up making was making a GoFundMe account. And guys, not only did friends and family come and show love and support, but holy cow, the paranormal community came. And you guys are freaking all amazing. I cannot believe the donations that we got from the paranormal community. You guys seriously rock. You guys, I was in the outs. I was in a really negative place. I was in a really stressful time. And then this happened. And it's just like, a wake-up call for me to like, dude, not everyone's an asshole. You're good. Everything's going to be okay. And that really, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I needed that, and more than the finances, I think. I needed that. But holy cow, now my daughter's going to get to go to Washington, D.C. for a full week. She's going to see amazing speakers. They had a list of speakers that were there, and we had people like Spike Lee talk, and all sorts of really cool people. So she has an opportunity to meet some really neat people and learn some really good things, and learn to be a good leader more than she already is. So thank you, everybody. It really, I can't say enough how much I really appreciate this. And if you go to the GoFundMe and you watch the videos, my daughter's just like, yeah, thank you. Oh my God. But she's the typical 12-year-old. She's just like, I don't get, why are you making me do this video, Dad? I don't get it. But
Do you know who nominated? Do you know who nominated
her? It was her school counselor.
Michaela had that when she was 15 or 16. We couldn't afford to send her. It was a painful thing. Yeah. But I know they have to be nominated, so that's really cool.
Yeah. Her school counselor nominated her, and she's the only person in the school. See, no one from her school has been nominated in like 2-3 years. I mean, they didn't have it last year because of COVID, but They still didn't have one for the past couple of years, and it probably is because of how expensive it is. It's like crazy. Seriously, it's $2,500, does not include airfare, and on top of that, not only does not include airfare, which whatever, you also have to get transportation from the airport to where the convention is. Now they're like, oh yeah, she can Uber or get a Lyft. Yeah, sorry, she's 12. That ain't gonna happen. Oh well, then you can pay for our shuttle service. Bitch, please. How much is your shuttle service? I'm sorry. No, I'm just like seeing more and more dollar signs. And this is all after they told us the airfare. Like when we first called to inquire, they told us, at least we thought they told us the airfare was included. And well, it's not. So I'm like, well, there's more. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to drive her down. People are so awesome. They made this happen. And I'm going to drive her. So we'll go there. I'll have to get a hotel because it's a 5.5 hour drive. And I don't know. There's only so much G Fuel in the world. It's going to be a lot of driving. So, yes, Brian, you got me hooked for G Fuel, man.
A little caffeine here and there.
Oh, and so. Yeah, so I just a huge thank you to everybody. Seriously, thank you. That's like so amazing. My daughter she's such an individual, and she is a strong young lady. And for her to have this opportunity to become a better leader and to take these skills, this is something that'll follow her, and this is gonna go onto her college applications and everything. So this is huge, guys, and it really means a lot. So thank you everyone that came out. Thank you everyone that shared. Thank you everyone that just put that positive thoughts and the positive vibes out there, because all of that comes together, and all of that is what makes this happen. So thank you everyone for the love and support, no matter how you did it. I know it was out there, so thank you everyone. All right, so I could go on and on and on about this, but Eddie Pence says, wish I could throw. Dude, what you threw in was freaking amazing, dude. Don't even worry about it. Everyone, don't. If you donated money, I don't care if you donated $1, if you donated $100. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you donated the thought, and every single amount helped. And the thing is that when you do GoFundMe, they take a fee. So yes, we hit our goal, but we also had a fee. But luckily, people actually sent me money through Cash Apps, so virtually. So you know what? I was like, why aren't people just like using the GoFundMe? And now I'm just like, well, thank you for not using the GoFundMe, because they just paid for the fees that I'm getting from GoFundMe. So it's just so awesome. So thank you everybody. I have now taken up the first 10 minutes of our podcast with this, but this is huge, guys. So I'm sorry I had to use this opportunity to say thank you to everyone who's watching, because this is just so awesome. I honestly thought we'd be lucky to get half. And that's like I set the goal for the 25, and I was really expecting to get half, and this exceeded all my expectations, which is good, because now I have the extra expense of having to go down there and get a hotel and stuff. So, but still, thank you again, everyone. Oh, look at this. Wolver shared the GoFundMe. Thank you so much. It is still active. If you guys want to help pay for more of those fees, I'm not going to be mad. But still,
you need to eat while you're there.
I do need to eat there. I need to eat, and I may want to stop at the Holocaust Museum. So if you guys want to pay for me to go and sightsee, no, I'm kidding. But seriously, it's just the fact that she gets to go and do something like this is amazing. So thank you, everybody. So now, Chris, and there's another project I want to talk a little bit about a bit further with David Wolver. He started a really cool campaign on Indiegogo for a new RU Media Network project, and so we'll talk a little more about that. But I've already taken up so much time talking about my personal business. We'll bring that up later. But guys, seriously, I think I made a banner. That's the link. It's a really long link, guys. So I'm going to put that in the comments. But make sure to go support this. This is a really cool project that David Wolver has put together, and of course, it's paranormal. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun to watch what happens and what he builds out of it. He's a great editor, and we've seen a lot of his work in Resident Undead and all that. So, with that, we have Chris Rowand. Man, this guy. Do you still have that? I don't know if you remember. There was a case you helped me with that involved the voodoo doll.
Mm-hmm.
What happened with the voodoo doll?
I took care of it. Do you want to know details?
Yes. So first, let's start off. Okay, so what happened was I had a case where a mom contacted me. She got an uneasy feeling in her daughter's room, and she ended up finding a voodoo doll. And her daughter was a preteen, and she ended up she had built this voodoo doll with somebody without her mom's permission, and this is a mom's friend and everything. So it caused like this whole big commotion. It caused this whole big thing, and we knew nothing about this voodoo doll. And so I was given the voodoo doll, and I called up Chris. I'm like, dude, what do I do with this doll?
Well, there was more to it than that.
Yeah,
you and Amber were trying to get you were trying to figure out what to do with it, and everything you were trying to think to do, something happened and you couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. We wanted to dispose of it properly, and it's not such an easy thing to do sometimes. So what we ended up doing was we ended up binding it, and it's like a temporary binding. And we brought it to Chris, and Chris and his awesome wife did a ritual, a voodoo type ritual, and they cleansed it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And so then the last I knew, so you guys did the cleansing and did that whole ritual, which was really interesting to watch. We then bound it again, but more permanent style, and then you put it away.
Yeah, I put it someplace safe that people wouldn't normally think to do it, but I went to my wife and I said, look, this is the situation we've got. I need a little bit of help with this because I know very little about Santeria or voodoo and things like that. I rely on other people to help me with that knowledge, or if I needed something done in that area. She has some knowledge in that area. So rather than bringing this into the house, not knowing what it was potentially, we did it on our front porch. Cleaned the front porch up, put candles out there. I warded the front porch. I warded my door and my window so that energy can't pass through it. She went and got her white garb, all in white, because that's what they would traditionally wear. She mixed up a bath, which is basically cleansing, purifying herbs that you just put in water. When you guys brought it to me, you did a good job. I mean, you had it wrapped in foil, which was a decent idea because it creates like a mirror on the inside so the energy just stays contained. Mm-hmm. Plus, you had bound it with ribbon, so that worked too. We unwrapped it, opened it up, and the energy was just chaotic. It was crazy. Mm-hmm. So she did her thing, gave it a basic bath, not dunking it in water like a baptism, but the way she knows to do. Basically,
she sprayed liquor on it.
She had rum. Yeah. She had a cigar, which is basically used for blessing and prayers and offerings. She blew the smoke. She lights the cigar and turns it backwards, so she blows it out the back end. She would take swigs of the rum and she basically sprays it.
Sounds like an old party back in my young 20s.
Yeah, really. But it's an offering, and it's what they do. If this was made using this kind of, we'll use the word magic or this technique, then it needs to be dealt with in the same manner. But you and Amber both, you were there for the whole thing, and you witnessed the energy just calm down. It stopped.
Yeah.
And then we rebound it, wrapped it back up on the foil. I took it into my house, and I went in the back of my house where I've got a like a 10 by 20 cubic inch deep freeze, and I put it in the freezer. Because what happens when you ever put batteries in a freezer?
Yeah.
You ever hear that? If you have batteries and you want them to last a while, put them in the freezer. They won't drain.
Okay.
It slows the molecule movement down.
Okay.
That's the wrong terminology, but basically it slows it so that you won't lose it. So we contained it, freezing it. And I had a conversation. There was a little girl attached to it. And I told her, you're free to go through my house. You can hang out, you can run around, but don't scare anybody. Don't do anything mean or bad here. And there was one or two incidents. I was working third shift, so I was home from work on a day off, and I don't typically sleep. I keep my schedule the same. I stay up all day, or I sleep all day. I'm up all night, even on my days off. And I'm sitting downstairs, and I'm on my laptop playing a video game, probably 3 o'clock in the morning, and I hear this loud bang from upstairs from an empty room. And it sounded like a fan, like a metal fan fell over. And I leaned back, and I'm listening, and I went, "Are you okay?" And I hear, "Sorry," clear as day. I hear a little girl say, "Sorry," and I'm thinking it's my youngest. So I get up, and I walk upstairs, and I go into the room. Mm-hmm. The fan is not falling over. It's upright. And I go and check bedrooms. Everybody's sound asleep. She's in her bed drooling. She's unconscious. So, okay, no problem. I just laughed about it, and I said, "You're fine. Nothing to worry about." But, I moved. I don't live in that house anymore. Although the deep freeze is still there, and my oldest lives there with her husband and my grandson. So what I did is I took the doll, and I went out into my backyard, and I created a circle. I created a safe space, a sacred space to do some work. I unbound it, and I worked with it a little bit, and the energy was no longer with the doll. It had moved on. So what I did is I took one of my wife's ritual knives, which is dull, but she uses it for creating circles and other things, and it's got a silver tip to it. And I cut figuratively, if there was a connection between that child and this doll, I used the knife to sever it. Which is why you had problems. If this doll was connected to her, disposing it of any way, you don't want to feel that. Nobody wants to deal with that kind of a thing. So I cut the cord. And then I basically opened it up like you would, cut it down the belly, and I removed all the stuffing from it. And by the way, there was no hair that I could find in it.
What was in it?
They told you that when they put it together, they thought that she had put a piece of her hair, a piece of the child's hair in the doll. There was no hair that I could find. Unless they used it to stitch or put it in with that. I didn't come across it. So, but when I dismembered it, basically all you have now is cloth, stuffing, and a little bit of stitchery or something. Now it's just items. They have no meaning, no purpose at all. And I burned them.
What was the hard thing in the middle?
Remember, it was a little like bead. It was a little bead thing. That was it.
That's really weird. I wonder.
Sometimes you do that. Sometimes you make a doll and you put something that might have been it. It wasn't a hair, but it could have been something that was special to her that they put inside of it so it would hold her energy.
Like maybe like
it was just a little tiny. On it. It was one of those barrel beads that was nothing special.
Huh. Maybe she made a wish on it or something.
Maybe.
The girl could have. I mean, when you believe in something and you hold something close, I mean, you can put that energy, you can put that in there, and it's just as you can end up being just as strong as putting, your hair or something like that into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the whole thing with working with creating items or working magic or something like that, or working with energy. It's all about intent.
Yeah.
It's all about your intent.
I agree.
Definitely. But once it was just stuff, I burned it.
Yeah.
And
but like after you figuratively severed the tie, then you burned it.
After I severed the tie and took it apart, so that it was literally cloth, stuffing, whatever else was left over, the beads, things like that. So now it's just a bunch of items. Mm. It has no significance, no being, no purpose.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for doing that and assisting in that. No. I always, that's just like one of those things. Like I've been wanting to kind of talk to you about that. I'm like, he's been holding on to this doll for a long time. Last time I talked to you, you had that doll for a really long time. You're like, no, I haven't done anything with it yet. Did you just recently do that?
Back in May of last year.
Really? Oh, okay.
We moved in June, and I didn't want to leave it in the house.
Yeah. I remember you saying something like that. Like you're moving, but you don't want to leave it in the house. So you have to figure out what's something to do with it.
Although she's still there.
The girl is?
Oh, yeah. When we left, activity shot up in that house. Oh, but wow. You know how I am. You know what I do. So when my physical presence was no longer in that house, Caitlin, my daughter, my oldest who lives there, is calling me up. There's stomping on the floor. This is happening. This is happening. I'm like, let it go.
Yeah. Yep. Caitlin's saying, yes, she is. I'll tell you what, Chris is like, if anyone's heard, like you should to protect yourself, like you can use things like iron, right? You can use things to shield yourself. Having Chris around you, it's seriously like having an iron staff, right? It's like he's like a big old bear of freaking just I don't know, grounded energy. Like this guy will I don't know. I've seen him alter energies just walking into a room.
Do you remember the first time that we went to Tinker's Creek? We went to the Terra Vista Cemetery.
Yes.
Wendy was with us, and you guys wanted to try to open a way for spirits that were stuck there to cross over. You wanted to help spirits cross over. You remember that?
Yes, I did. I remember they're having trouble getting it to open, and then you were right there. You're right. You stepped back, and I called Archangel Michael. And so, I think that they both kind of coincided. And then as soon as we both kind of did that, that you could feel the doorway open. Because you did say you had to walk. You're like, this isn't working. I remember that very well.
That was Michaela was with us, and we caught that EVP on that hill's edge. It was you and Michaela and myself, and we caught that really crazy deep. And everybody was arguing about what it said. It was like coffee.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. And that photo that you captured.
Yeah, that's still on the webpage. That's still on the I think that's still on the banner of the Spirit Valley Facebook page.
It is actually. Let's see if I can find it.
And you caught one in the trees, didn't you?
I captured something. It was in the. It was the brush kind of on the edge of the trail. Yeah,
but it looked like ectoplasm or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was weird like that.
Yeah.
I remember the photograph that Michaela was standing there, and she goes, somebody give me a camera. And she turned around and just started snapping a picture. And I remember we were trying to because it was cold that night. We were blowing our breath so you could see it in the light, and nothing compared to what this looked like.
Oh, this, let me see if I can find it. This is like one of the greatest photos. Like there's no way to explain. This is the shape of it and everything. There's no way to really explain it. Here it is.
You're right. Terra Vista Cemetery, not Tinker's Creek. I get it.
Gotcha.
You're right. I knew what you meant. And honestly, the thing is about Terra Vista, which we learned further down the line, it is not part of the national park. So don't go there without permission.
Yes, don't do it. There's no signage. There's no nothing.
There's
you
none.
walk up a path, and the path basically V, like it does like this. And there's nothing to say private property, so you don't know.
There's not even a cemetery sign. You're walking in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, then you walk upon the cemetery. And it's really creepy and it's really cool. And it's
really old.
Really haunted. Yeah, it is. It is. It's really old. Here's the photo, guys. Check that out. Like, this is the original raw photo. This is not doctored. This is not enhanced.
And that was from Kelly's camera, who just commented.
Yes. What's going to make that sort of a shape? That's not anything natural. Or I should say from nature. I don't know the right way to say this, because it's from nature. It's a spirit, I think. So it's not anything that we could explain. Because nothing's going to make a shape like that. It's almost like a music note. What is that? I've seen all sorts of myths. I have another photo that I use as a background sometimes from Bowman Cemetery. It's a very similar type of thing, but it's not shaped like this. This cigarette smoke is never going to look like this.
It almost looks like a tornado of sorts. If you look at how it almost looks like it's twisting on top.
It does.
Maybe like a vortex or something was forming. I don't know. But she picked up on it. Kelly handed her a camera. It was just a little camera, and she snapped that picture.
Yeah.
The stuff in the background on the one side, I believe, are bushes.
Yeah,
or
that's bushes.
high weeds.
That's the light coming from the sky through the trees, because there's woods right there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but the main thing is this anomaly here in the middle. There's nothing. I don't know how to explain that. I've had. Let's see. Here, I'll do this real quick. So I use this as a background often. And here, I'm just going to do this. It's going to go quiet for a second.
That's the one I was talking about.
Well, that one's from Bowman Cemetery. I got that with a different group. That mist is that thing is. There's again no way to explain it. It's got a really weird shape to it, and it's definitely not cigarette smoke. But that the shape that photo that Caitlin captured has always been one of my favorites. That was it. Michaela that captured it.
It was Michaela.
Sorry.
Yeah, see, in Kelly, we even tried to recreate it with breath because it was cold outside. I even think somebody had a cigarette. I think Jesse had a cigarette, and we tried that too.
Yeah, we did. We tried it. Yeah, and then remember after that photo was taken, she was like overcome, and I ended up giving her an Apache tear, and we all kind of shielded her and to kind of bring her down a little to help ground her.
That happened the second time we went with Carrie. Carrie was actually touched. She went to walk away from one of the monuments, one of the headstones, and it was like something grabbed her wrist. It wasn't forceful. It was gentle. We went back and looked. It was actually the headstone of a mother. Probably hadn't seen a kid in a long time, and it didn't want her to leave.
Yeah.
You and I, she was broken down. She came over to me and goes, "Dad, we have to leave right now." And then you came over and talked to her, and she calmed down.
Yeah. That's man. That's that place it's really cool, but guys, go during the day. This is not parts of the park are open 24 hours. It's not one of those. We thought it was. We learned the hard way. We did not get in any trouble, but we were corrected. So I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, if you look at the national parks, even if you go to Terra Vista, it's not one of the parks that lists a closing time. We researched it. We did. But yeah, I guess sometimes it's just not, as obvious.
Are you alone?
They're upstairs in bed. It's just my two oldest kids aren't home, so my wife is in bed early with my youngest.
So there's nobody
That's
around.
the second
sound we just heard.
Yeah, that's the second bang I heard. The first one sounded like the toilet seat going down, but I didn't go down and check it. So I don't know.
Hey, spirits have to go too.
You would think, at least part of their habit, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and we've been doing work around the house too, so it amped things up a little bit around here.
I've been meaning to ask you about that. I know you've done your floors and you're working on a lot of stuff in your house. Has your activity picked up?
A little bit, yes. But it's at the same time, it seems like it's almost like a feeling of approval. Almost, I don't know. It's weird. It seems like the energy, like at first we were tearing up the floors and then it's just like, yeah, it got real uneasy. And then after we finished the floor, we started the painting and we did all that. It just seemed to like the energy just like kept on getting better. And then once I finally finished painting, you could just like feel like almost like a feeling of approval. It's really kind of cool. The lady of the house, I think, approves of the changes that we made. And I still have one more thing to do. The upstairs flooring was like a big pain, and the guy who we hired to do it had a really hard time doing it. So he actually just finished it this week. So now I'm going to put these carpet pieces down on the steps. So it'll be easier. It won't be as dangerous for the kids, and it'll be easier for the dogs. So
now, when you were pulling up the carpet and when you were doing the downstairs floors and you had that uneasy feeling at first, that could have all been residual emotional energy that was locked in that stuff. And pulling it up, it's like shaking a rug with dust in the air. And once it was out, it went away.
Oh, and trust me, there's a lot of crap in there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, who knows what was there before we were here? And I mean, we cleaned the carpet and everything, but that carpet was there since we moved in. So at least they put the lid down, right? Teach my son that. Actually, he needs to put the seat up sometimes too. You know what I'm saying?
Ew.
Oh, living with kids is such a dream.
Tristan's potty trained now. I get it. He runs in the bathroom and lifts the lid and jumps up on a stool and yeah.
Now with having little ones and having, being a spiritual person like you are, do you notice like the little ones noticing kind of spirit and noticing different things like that?
Absolutely. They're far more open to it. They don't have kids are more easily able to see things and feel things than we are because we're not bogged down by years and years of religious teachings or even just mundane bills, work, things like that. We get bogged down. Kids don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And Tristan plays with, he's told Caitlin that he's got a little friend he's playing with. He's not afraid of anything in the house, but I told him that there's nothing there that could hurt him. Pop made sure there's nothing there that would hurt him. And he does identify, he does see things. So, but he's not afraid of them. I do the same thing. We're doing with Tristan what we did with Carrie and Caitlin and Michaela. They grow up around this.
Yeah.
So, and they can learn to tell when something is not right. And I end up getting a phone call. Or usually it's just, hey, this weird stuff's happening. Okay. So what are you going to do about it? Well, nothing. Okay. It's going to happen. Is Tristan okay? Yeah. Then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But yes, they absolutely can. It's like an animal. They can see things. They can feel it. And as they grow, it'll either get stronger, it may change, or it'll go away altogether.
Right. I try to bring my kids up with it, kind of being more open than I was brought up with it, because if you don't, if you're not used to it, it's extremely scary. And so I try to give, but still it's hard. It's because the kids are still being brought up with the Catholic background and everything. So it's kind of like I'm contradicting what they learned when they were going through confirmation and all that. But
you don't have to contradict it.
I don't. I just teach them and I show them, And I tell I always tell my kids, if you feel something and you feel uneasy, just call Saint Michael to you. Call Archangel Michael to you, and he'll protect you. Trust me, he already does, and he won't mind coming to you. And I tell them that's what I do, and it works. I tell them Archangel Michael, he's with me on investigations. He's a big part of him, Raphael, my spirit guides, a lot of the whoever I may call to me on investigations, they protect us, and they protect me on investigations, and they make sure that nothing follows me home. And ever since I started doing that, I've noticed that I haven't been getting as many things following me home. So it works.
One of the things that I do with the kids, as soon as they're old enough to understand, is I work on basic shielding with them. Mm-hmm. When you're scared, this is what you do. And to be honest with you, that's what you're doing with your kids. When you tell them to call on the Archangel Michael to come and protect them, you're basically empowering them to basically shield themselves. Yeah. Because that's what a protective shield is. It's an emotional barrier. Okay, our auras are determined, the color of an aura is determined by your emotional state. All right. And what an aura is emotions or bioelectrical current, electricity that flows through our body. Moving your arm is a bioelectrical current that goes through your brain to the limb. Emotions are the same way, but emotions are far more powerful. So when you feel intense feelings, your aura will expand. It'll change colors. It becomes brighter or dimmer, depending on depression, things like that. So when you think of something that makes you feel safe, and for kids, I don't care what it is. Do you like your blanket? When you get scared, what do? I get my blanket. Okay, your blanket is your shield. As long as you have it, nothing can hurt you. As long as they feel that protection, that safe emotion, they're shielded. They have the beginnings of a shield that can work with them, that can protect them while they go and get help or something. And that's what you're doing for your kids. You're doing the exact same thing. You're just using a different term or technique to do it. It's still the same. It doesn't matter. Jesus Christ can be your shield. If Jesus Christ makes you feel safe, you bring him into your heart. If that works for you, fantastic. Use it. Right. That's the point, is that emotional state of I'm safe, I'm protected, you can't hurt me. And if there are things that are knocking or banging, as long as you're polite and respectful, you can tell it to stop. Go away. You're not here. And if you have the intent, you can, and that's part of why I can do what I do, is my intent. You will not harm anybody with me, and I push things away. Like you said, I've walked into a room and just parted energy.
Yeah, I've witnessed you doing that. Here, Michelle Bayer Davis, she wants to know, what does 3 knocks mean? I get a lot of knocking on my windows, always 3 knocks.
Maybe it's Sheldon. Honestly, I know that the three knocks, 3 scratches, to some people means it's evil. It's something malevolent. But 3 is used in so many ways. The threefold law, the Trinity, the Holy Trinity. Yeah. 3s come all the time. So it just might be 3 knocks. I mean, it also depends on what other activity is going on. What else is happening besides the knocks? Because maybe it's an ancestor. Maybe it's somebody trying to get your attention.
Right. I mean, when you knock on a door, like normally it's right. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, it's not. I don't know. I'm kind of right there with you. It's not always going to be something. Can it be? Yes, but honestly, anything can be. Right. It's just a matter of. That's why you need to do your due diligence and do your research and try and figure it out. And if it's in your own home, I highly suggest finding someone to help you. Never try to communicate in your own home, especially if you're not highly experienced when dealing with spiritualism or paranormal, supernatural activity, because what you're doing is you're inviting more to come. And when you ask for any sort of communication, it doesn't matter if you're taking pictures, it doesn't matter if you're setting a camera up, it doesn't matter if you're doing an EVP session, you are asking, you're putting the intent out there to capture something and for something to happen. And you put that out there in your home, you're inviting it into your home. And by doing that, you're letting spirit know it's okay and it's welcome. So please come anytime. So if you don't want that, then don't do it. Now, that's always what I tell every client, because that's so important. I don't do anything inside my home. If I test something on my property, it's outside. And the intent is to know that don't come through that threshold, because I don't want that for my family. It's not welcome in my home.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have experience. Now, I've tested stuff in my home.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Hey, everybody has their own comfort level, right?
Well, but I know how to get rid of things if something were to enter. And my house, even before we moved any furniture in here, before we did anything, this house was smudged, blessed, and warded. So things can come and go, but nothing with malintent, nothing with malevolence. If it comes in here, it'll be like 1,000 eyes on it, and nobody can work. If you're in to do something sneaky and people are watching you, you're not going to do it. And if something does lash out, it'll be bad for it.
Yeah.
So, definitely. But I deal with a lot of ancestral stuff too around here.
Yeah, you're ancestral with your spiritual beliefs. That's a big part of what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is really neat. Michelle, again, she wants to know, how do you protect your home if she wanted to work with your pendulum?
Well, again, it's like you just said. When you're working with a pendulum, you're inviting something to come and interact with you. So if you're looking for that to happen, then that's on you to do that. But creating a protective circle, there's a couple different ways you can do it, but you need to be careful because you're still inviting it into your area. You can use salt, and I mean, table salt's okay. I would recommend something like sea salt or pure sea salt or even Himalayan salt. Something I actually just learned is that you can use white cornmeal. It basically grounds. It's used for grounding in the Southwest. They'll put it on the ground. They'll put it in a circle. You go into the middle of it. Nothing can cross it. Anything that tries to cross it is instantly grounded and cannot pass through. So there's something new I learned. But you want to be careful on what your intent is and what you're doing. If you're doing it just for fun, maybe go outside and do it. Don't do it in the house. If you're doing it in the house because you're trying to communicate with something that's already there, you need to make your intent clear. Basically, what I mean by your intent clear is I'm looking just to see who you are and what you want while you're in my home. You do it respectfully. You don't get angry at it. You don't cuss at it. because that just shows a disrespect. And then you also let whatever you're doing know when this is done, you need to stop. You need to go away. But you need to be careful. If you're not sure, don't do it. That insecurity, that unsureness will...
Trying to contact a loved one.
Be very careful doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Skype. It's not like Facebook Messenger or something where you can see the person you're talking to. You might think you're getting a loved one, and you're not. You need to be careful.
Yeah.
Again, state your intent. Do what you want to do, and when you're done, tell it that it needs to go. It cannot remain here.
When trying to, for me personally, when trying to contact a loved one, or if I'm thinking of someone and I'd like to have a visit from them, I'll maybe do like a meditation, or as I'm going to sleep, I'll kind of like think of the person, or be like nice. They're like, oh, it'd be so nice if my grandfather would visit me tonight in my dreams or something, and I'll put that intent out there for it's just him, and I'll say the name. For me, that's something that works. But I mean, I feel like that's probably because you're not reaching out, you're not asking the questions, you're not asking for the communication, you're asking for that specific someone to come and visit you while you're in a dreamlike state, kind of. What do you think of that, Chris? Do I do that approach that well, or do you think that's still
even when I do stuff? When I'm trying to do some ancestral work, or when I'm calling on an ancestor and I've got personal, like very personal items from this person, you need to be careful, because the hope is that you'll be able to contact this ancestor, or at least they'll send you some energy. However, that may not always be the case. It's not like picking up a phone and it's the person you're talking to. We don't know for sure. So it's something to be very careful with. But if the intent is there, I don't want to say most of the time, because somebody out there is going to go, it's never happened to me. It's been bad things. But my experience, I have pretty good luck with ancestral, with getting a hold of, I'm not going to use the word ancestors all the time. My mother, my brother-in-law who passed away. Carrie, who are you talking to? Nobody. Carrie, I heard it, you talking. Who are you talking to? Uncle Ron. Okay. So things, and she started drawing. She started doing things like he did. She just picked it up and started doing it. Like, okay, I'll let it go. But I've also done things where I've called on help.
Have a personal object of the person's, if you can, would that help? So Caitlin, Rowand.
That's my daughter, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Caitlin is asking if having a personal object of that person would help. Well, I think it does, but that's just me.
No, I agree with you totally. We use trigger objects all the time, and the more personal it is, because it has the energy from that person. And I'm not talking about a photograph of that person. It's something that they own, that they had with them. The more personal it is, the more it has their energy on it, the more it's a beacon for that energy to reconnect with it. I have an entire ancestor altar behind me. It's hidden by kids' playhouses and toys, but it's there. Every person in my family or in our lives that's passed away, I have something that was personal to them on it. And it's not a picture of like my mother and me, or my mother and my father. No, it's just her. Nobody living is on it. My wife calls it something, and I don't remember what the word is. Bovida, something like that.
Okay. I mean, that's great. I remember at your old place, you had was like a shelving for your mom and everything.
Yeah, we still do.
You still do?
She has her own, you buy a bookshelf from Walmart and it's got that bigger section than the rest. That entire thing is all my mother.
That's awesome.
Because she was an extremely influential and important person in not just my life, but my wife, my children. So she gets her own space, her own spot.
That's awesome.
And even like behind me, where is it? On this side of me, there's like that big flower thing hanging up. That's actually a hat. She would go to this, where we go camping at, they would have a tea party for the women, and they would make all these fancy hats. And she wore that one a couple of years. So that's on my wall.
I still need to go there.
A couple of years. Things are, with COVID, I haven't been there in almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, stupid COVID. I'm getting my vaccine, my second vaccine here, a week from Friday. And you know what's a week from Saturday?
What?
Brian and I are meeting Mike Ricksecker at the Hinsdale House. So, yeah, so good vibes for that second vaccine that I'm getting.
I want to get back there really bad.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. It's going to be really cool. Mike is working on a new documentary. Brian's. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just making sure. That's all. I thought you just said the 10th, and that's what threw me.
Oh, I said it was a week. I said it was a week after. It was after a week from Saturday. Is what? Oh, am I wrong? I am wrong. 2 weeks from Saturday.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because yeah.
Oopsie doops. Yeah, today's the 3rd. Yeah, I said oopsie doops. I have kids. Leave me alone. So that's so 3 Saturdays. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Michelle, if you want to use some pendulum work and like you haven't, I would definitely go to like a flashlight tour, and hopefully they'll have like a section where you can go, learn the different equipment, or even, going with a group or experienced group, or, something where you can experiment with the pendulum that's not at your house. That would probably be the safest thing. Also, if you're trying to contact a loved one, I mean, I would even say just like praying to that person, like praying to God, like if you do, if that's what you do, just to tell them something, that would be the safest way. But if you're trying to get something from them, maybe if you're because you said I'll research first. If you're looking to research, it's a red flag to me that maybe you should bring in, like a team or someone that's experienced to help you with it. If this is your first time trying to contact someone. Right. Because where, intent's very important, and there's a lot of ways to protect you. I just want to make sure that, there's a lot of things that could happen. And, your safety is number one, when it comes to contacting, whatever you make contact with. So that would be alongside of everyone else's advice. That's just what I throw out there.
It's very good advice.
Very good advice for sure. Because exactly. I mean, through meditation, meditation is a form of prayer. So that's a better way of explaining what I said, I think.
I think Robin on the team, I had brought up talking about pendulums, how I've seen interesting things with pendulums, but part of my problem is that there's still the human element. Mm-hmm. It's a person holding it. And although you're the conduit for spirit to move the pendulum, I still have skepticism about it. So Robin, I shared something on the page, and she bought a pendulum, and it basically hangs, it's got its own stand like this. It hangs on a little hook, and it dangles down, and on the bottom is a saucer with sand. So there's no human input. There's nothing, you set this up, you get the sand nice and smooth, and you walk away from it. If that pendulum moves, it's going to leave a mark in the sand, and you'll see it. And 100% that was something spirit. That was something else.
Yeah. I've seen those.
I like that.
That's really cool. Yeah. It's really
got
cool
it on Amazon.
put that together. Oh, nice.
Got it from Amazon.
Maybe that's where I know I've seen those before. That's really cool. Another thing that you can look into is if you go, there's different metaphysical stores, and a lot of metaphysical stores have classes. There's one that's out in the Akron area. I don't know if you're in Ohio, but there's one called Mama's Rocks, and they've actually been posting a lot of classes that they're going to have, and actually one of them is with different, crystals and things. I think I may have seen one for pendulums, but if you look around, there's classes for that all over the place. Look into it. Ask around in the community for your local community. I know that there's different psychics will have classes too. I know, again, if you're local in the Akron, Cleveland area, Melinda Carver, she has a lot of classes. And there's a lot of other people that will have classes that can really help you. And also, with all that being said, you can always get a reading from a psychic. Find a good, reputable psychic. Someone, unfortunately, with psychics, they're not, I'm not, just make sure that you get someone that is good. It's just unfortunately like any other field, there's people that take advantage of people. So it's just a matter of, finding the right one for you. Because there are a lot of really, really good psychics out there. It's just about finding the right one and finding one that's, in it for the right reasons.
You're comfortable with. Yeah. Find somebody you're comfortable with and who's legitimate. Because there's a lot of people out there that can basically read a person and they're not psychic. They're making deductions. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah. All you need to do is take a psych class, and you can learn the different things. And it's really, really interesting once you start noticing things. So.
Yeah, and like a lot of the things that you can learn from a psych class. Well, there's even things that you can't. There's gifts that give you the ability to learn a lot about someone. Just for example, Into the Abyss. It's a section where we do 13 fast fire questions, in which you can answer as quickly and as thoroughly as possible. Are you ready for it, Chris?
I love that transition.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, my friend. 13 fast fire questions. I'll give you number 1 and number 13 for sort of like a reference point. All right, my friend?
Okay.
Let's do it. Number 1, you can sense energy from certain objects. What's the most chaotic energy you've ever felt from a quote-unquote haunted object?
Jeez. That doll?
Yeah?
That doll that Shawn brought over was absolutely crazy until we got it to calm down. Just think about a kid who's absolutely terrified and hyperactive.
Number 2. How important is it to have a significant other who helps and supports you in the paranormal?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the actual individual. For me, I would say it's important, but I would do what I do anyways. Okay, let me retract that. If she didn't support what I do, or she was against it or constantly ridiculed it, the marriage would probably end. So I'd say it's rather important to have your significant other be supportive.
Very good. What is the first paranormal experience you can remember?
First paranormal experience that I can remember. We lived in Cleveland Heights on Lee Road. I was maybe 10 years old. And in my room, I had a cork wall so I could hang posters and stuff. My parents put it up for me. And I remember laying in bed, looking in that wall, watching something walking back and forth. It's a dark cork wall, and this was darker than it. And although there could have been light coming in from the street and maybe a car going by, this thing paced back and forth, just constant. It's never left me. Even I was 10 years old, and I've never forgotten it.
Ew.
Right.
All right. We'll try and brighten it up. So there's some shelves behind you. What's the most significant object on those shelves?
I gotta look. I don't know. Oh God! Everything on that shelf is significant. Everything. The Gandalf on top came from my father, and I look at it and I see my father. There's a disc on the bottom you can't really see. It's of a timber wolf that my mother gave me, but the disc was made from ash from Mount St. Helens when it erupted.
Oh, wow.
That is significant. Speaking of significant questions, what's the most embarrassing story you have of Shawn?
Oh, come on.
I don't really think that there's one. I wasn't there for the sneeze.
He's being nice.
I honestly can't think of one.
Oh.
Wow. There you go.
He's being nice. They're out there. He's just, you put him on the spot, so he's not thinking. He'll message you later.
Okay, let's just say that I don't want to go there right now.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I sat in some of those old EVP team meetings and thought, okay, this is a little odd.
A little odd.
I'm not odd.
Amber knows what I'm talking about.
Amber knows. Oh
my
gosh.
What? There's nothing out there. I don't embarrass myself ever.
I mean, you've been on so many locations. What's a location you've never been to but always wanted to go?
I have a bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
Everything from Trans-Allegheny to I'd love to go to the Winchester, to be honest with you.
The Winchester.
Yes.
I love it. And before the Winchester, you probably got to eat something. What's your favorite pre-investigation meal?
I don't have one. I'm diabetic, so it's not like I just go and gorge on junk food before I go.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably get something with some carbs because I'm going to be walking around. And I don't want my sugar to bottom out on me while I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, probably a burger.
Yeah. Nothing that's too greasy that'll upset your stomach and whatnot. So
not pizza.
Not pizza. That's what I tell people. People are going to be farting, their stomachs are going to explode, and then they're going to be too embarrassed. Shawn, you remember Bobby?
We were at the historical place in Shalersville.
Yeah.
Bobby said he was eating pizza, and we had to leave a room because he passed gas.
Oh my gosh!
No pizza.
That was at the historical society that with Cruz was. Yeah,
Cruz was with us.
Yeah,
that's so awesome.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I mean, Chris, your wealth of knowledge, and obviously a ton of people are really taking a lot of value from this. Can you describe the process of binding and cleansing an object?
Depends on the object. Depends on what you're doing. What's the intent? Why are you binding it? I don't like binding things. I don't, because I don't want to be bound myself. It's not something that I would like to do. I would rather have, rather than binding something, I'd like to find another way to deal with it. If you absolutely have to bind something, once again, it depends on what you're binding. What is the point? What is the purpose? Not the point. What is the purpose of it?
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to go into what you're going to use. Anything from a ribbon to iron wire. That's like a loaded question.
Yeah, and that's significant to people because they might do some research and just pick the top one or two answers, but there's so many. So it's very situational, you say.
the first thing you got to think of is, why do you need to bind something or someone?
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want to be bound yourself. Nobody wants that. So that's the first thing you need to consider. And are there other ways to deal with what's going on?
Mm. Okay, I love that. Now, besides your senses, which is everyone's answer, what's your favorite piece of equipment to use?
Probably a periscope.
Okay. And for the people that don't know what a periscope is, can you describe it a little bit?
It's basically a device that detects static kinetic electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So where a REM pod picks up like an EMF or electricity will flow through your house. So a REM pod can go off for no reason. There's nothing spiritual there. It's just because of the electricity in the place. When you get a REM pod going off in a place with no electricity, that's kind of cool, unless it's a stormy night. Then it's a possibility. A periscope, the difference between an EMF, which is basically when you have an electrical charge, it gives off like a field of electricity or an electromagnetic field that sets things off. Static electricity is that thing where if you don't put a sheet in your dryer, it sticks to you.
Yeah.
Clothes are sticking together. You take a balloon, rub it on your hair, it sticks to a wall. That's static. Kinetic is movement, which means that this energy must be moving. So when I have something, when I see a periscope going off, that means that there's something moving around it that was not there before and then leaves and it wasn't there now. That's very cool and interesting to me.
Wow. That's the best answer I ever got for that question. It's just the truth. So you've been in the field for years, been on multiple teams, multiple cases. What's the most significant case that you've been on or been a part of?
I don't know if there's, significant in what terms. There's people, it's not like there was, the poltergeist, this house is clear. Never had something like that yet, in that manner of significance. If you mean places that I found the most interesting, Hinsdale.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the house. The house wasn't what I slept in that house like an old person on medication. I didn't sleep like a baby. They're up every 2 hours. You need to change them and feed them. I was like unconscious. For 2 nights, I slept like a baby in that house. But the outside, the woods, were crazy active.
Mm-hmm. That's so awesome.
To me, I find that interesting because I understand that a little bit more. That there's more than just a demon or something evil in the woods trying to get us. There's all kinds of things in the woods that are there that we're not meant to understand. They're not human, so they don't react and interact like we do. And I find that interesting.
Okay. And that, I guess, just kind of just bleeds into it, but what's the most haunted place you've ever been to?
Oh, that's... I don't even know where to go with that. Madison Seminary. I've been to RCI, not to investigate. I was helping out, but that place, the energy was crazy. And we're going there in June.
Oh, you are?
June 3rd, I think we're going.
Nice.
And Hinsdale. We're going to the Monroe House end of the month. That is a crazy place. It's never the same twice.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's really cool that you guys are going. Sorry, I was about to get off topic. Go ahead, keep on with into the bits.
You're good. I mean, we're all talking about truth, but Chris, you need to tell us the truth right here, right now. What's the secret to that beautiful, magnificent beard?
Brush it.
I
need to clean it up. It's a little too bushy. This is the COVID look. I need to clean it up.
No, it's looking nice. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but it's impressive.
You're not seeing the lower half of it. It's pretty scraggly. And this
you should see it when they braid it.
This thing here is all mask. You know, the mask wears it and it puts an indent in my beard. And I got to sit here and work with it and try to get that out.
You could honestly just flip it up and use it as a mask. Do you think people will question you or give you any look? Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Add some braiding to it, and there you go.
I'll get my daughters to braid it for me.
Hey, that sounds like a beautiful, beautiful Facebook post.
What did I say, Amber? I thought I said, it was Fairfield. What did I say?
You said Randolph.
Did I say Randolph? I did say Randolph. It's Fairfield. I'm sorry.
You guys are always on top of things. That's awesome.
I mixed the two up too. I don't know why. It's weird.
I've never been to both, so that's an exciting time as an investigator to have all these gems to still uncover. So, all right, number 13 is the last one, Chris. For people who are just about to join or start a paranormal team, how would you describe the amazing memories they're about to create?
Ooh.
Life-changing.
Life-changing.
You meet new people in a new, well, and it probably isn't going to be a new field for you, but you're going to meet a lot of people who are like-minded. Most of them are not judgmental. There are a few assholes out there, but most of them are not. It's just a whole community of people that's very unique and who you can relate to in this field. It's life-changing. You're not alone. Most people get into this field because of past experiences. I would probably say the majority of people get into this because of past stuff that's going on with them. And once you know you're not alone and you find people like you, it's life-changing.
Yes, sir.
Chris Rowand. That's a perfect way to end that segment, too.
Definitely. It's a great answer for that. Yeah. Wow. So you had mentioned how you guys are going to Fairfield and a couple other locations. So your team, and it's going across the ticker. You have OMPR. The website is ompr330.com. What do you guys have going on for this year? Do you guys have any big events? Any?
We're doing FCI. We're doing that. Their FCI con that they're doing. We're doing MadCon. We're doing Amber, help me out. OSR in May. What is that? The Paracon that he's doing?
Yeah, that's a cool event.
We're doing that. I know that we're going to Fairfield. We're going to the Monroe House. I think there's someplace else, but I can't quite.
There is a place in Pennsylvania that
I'm constantly asking Amber.
Wasn't it? I don't know. I don't know. My new work schedule has me so I can't do things on Fridays. Parasite. Yes.
That's the one of OSR.
Yes, that is a really cool event. With that, you just pay to get in, like you would for a normal day tour. But there's a con.
Wellington. Thank you, Amber. We're going to Wellington in June.
Yes, that looks really cool, and I'm like really upset that I couldn't go. Because the other ones I've been to, but this Wellington looked really cool.
And it's new. It's not been overly investigated like some other places have.
Yeah. So that's really cool. So people will find you guys there. Will you guys have cookies? Because you guys have the best cookies. Oh yeah.
I have to watch those cookies.
Oh, the sisters make these cookies, guys. Go to their table, buy $1 cookie, buy a bunch of them, because one is never enough. They're like Pringles, man. I'm telling you can't just have one. Eric
was he came over. He just put a bunch of money down, and then people would come over. Eric sent us to get a cookie. There it is. Take one.
Oh, here Caitlin says Waverly Hills in Kentucky. She wants to go there. Ooh, sounds like that sounds like a father-daughter trip.
I'll tell you what, Waverly Hills is expensive, and if I ever got the ability to go there, I would probably end up having my entire family in tow. If I didn't take a single member of my family, if I didn't take one person, I took everybody else, they'd be pissed at me for years.
That's true.
They'd be at my eulogy. That son of a bitch didn't take me.
I got a Waverly Hills story. I was part of a paranormal group, and I had just became the president. I didn't know I was going to become the president because the founder of the college group was graduating, and he just left it to me. Very, very kind. Thank you, Gene. But I already had plans for spring break, as one does. And I was decently early on in my paranormal venture. Check out this stacked spring break that I was able to help organize, but never went to. Visit to Bobby Mackey's, Perryville Battlefield, and Waverly Hills. It was a whole loop for spring break, and I didn't get to go to it.
Nice.
And it was beautiful. There was walking around that we captured all throughout Perryville and Waverly. So many people had personal experiences. So Bobby
Mackey's is another place I'd love to go, but I'd be very selective on who I took with me.
Yeah,
correct.
I agree. I haven't been to Bobby Mackey's. I've seen it on TV. And also the Villisca Murder House. That place would be cool to go to. I like going to homes. Those are my favorite. Going to like hospitals and psych wards, like honestly, like those are like the most taxing on me being an empath. But I like going into homes. I think that the reason why I like going into homes is because that's like why I got into the paranormal, is because of my personal experiences, and I want to help people. So that's where unless you're going into like a business where you're helping someone, but when you have going into the houses like Hinsdale House, Monroe House, the Villisca Murder House, the mansions. There's so many good mansions. Franklin Castle. There's so many cool places that you can go to. What was that?
I've never been there. I don't know. I heard Franklin Castle is pretty cool.
I've heard good things about it. I've know.
Good things as well.
I'm just thinking of haunted homes that you can go to. That you can rent. I don't know how Franklin Castle does it, but if you can get in there, that'd be cool. And but here real quick, check this out. I before like I kind of before all this happened with my daughter and everything, I went and I got the pictures. The Hinsdale House, they have maps now that you can purchase. And check this map out. I just want to kind of show everybody, because they have these maps. They're $10 each. And they have a map of each floor of the house and of the property. I'm going to show the one of the property real quick, because they have done so much work here. So here it is. And you can, do you have that pond? There's now a trail that goes all the way around the pond.
Can we go in the pond?
Well, I probably wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I just don't think there's the steps going up the hill. They did something where it's easier to go up the hill. I don't know. I haven't been there since you were there. But there's a trail now going around the pond. I guess you can now access where the old barn was, and there's all sorts of really cool stuff. So now there's more area to access outside. So I don't know. But like when I go to these historical locations and these famous locations, to me, it's to learn to take that with me when I go into a private residence or a private business. And so that's why I think I like those. When you go into one of those hospitals and the psych wards, like those places, like that's like the extreme, right? And for me, it's just those are the hardest because of being an empath. But I like going to homes and I like going to jails. Those are my favorite. those are my favorite places to really go investigate. But if I go to a place like Waverly, I'm gonna be beat up and worn out, like physically and emotionally, for probably a good week.
See, I like going any place. Doesn't matter. I mean, I'm an empath too, plus, and I kind of just shield when I don't want things bothering me. But I've been learning that since I was little. Um, I prefer homes, but I prefer like residential homes. I like going, and it's just like when you guys started OMPR. Yeah, I always mix that up and mix the letters up. It was basically not to do documentaries, not to get ourselves on video and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, but it was to help people who are having problems. And that's what I like doing. Educate some people, help them not be afraid. If there is something going on, help them either learn how to coexist with it or how they can fix it or whatever they need to do to make themselves easier, to make it easier for them to live there. If there is something negative, deal with it. That's what I really prefer doing.
Yeah.
The whole thing with going to the places is, like you said, it's education, and quite honestly, it's fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's like the entertainment. But you're there to learn, and you're there to hopefully maybe you can teach spirit something too. But yeah, it's also about supporting those historical locations and helping them go. It's expensive to run. It doesn't matter if it's a small place like Hinsdale House or if it's a huge place like Waverly Hills. It's very expensive to run a location.
A lot of those places, they're taking that money and putting it back in. And I mean, look at Hinsdale, for example.
Yeah.
Look at what Adam's doing with Fairfield and with Madison. I mean, they're doing a lot of good work.
Yeah.
So anyway, we can support it.
Definitely. Oh, the Madison Seminary, from when I was first there to Madison Seminary now, it's completely different. It's completely different. And it's not just the way that it looks, it's the way that it feels. And it's all because of the work that Adam did. Now, it doesn't mean it's any less haunted. It just means that they brought a lot of good positive energy in there. And it's there's still, trust me, you will not be disappointed. And chances are you'll probably live there with something scary happening. But it's that place is I don't know, it's just a lot different. It's a different animal now. It's completely different. The energy is different. Even the energy is different in different parts of the building now. It's really crazy. It's maybe it's just not as chaotic as what it was. Maybe they helped settle it almost.
Have you been to Fairfield yet?
Yes.
Have either of you guys been there?
Yes.
That place, Amber and I went down and basically volunteered. I painted a little bit, did some scraping, and we were waiting for Adam to bring paint back, so we went and walked around. And that place, I would love to get back. Like, we're going to go back and investigate it because, I mean, the energy was so different depending on where you were in the building. It was like you were in different locations. It wasn't even the same place.
Yeah. And it's so easy to get turned around in that building. Like you can think.
Yeah, there's staircases everywhere.
Yeah. It's so easy to get turned around. It's like, oh, you think that you're on the third floor, but you're on the second floor, or you're on the fourth floor. It's really weird.
And they call it the dungeon, but it's really up in the attic.
The chicken coop?
Yeah, we went up there, and Amber and I walked up there. And when you first walk in the door, you look to your right, and there was those chains on the wall. I saw an old man, like, shuffling. You know how they walk, and they're just, like, shuffling when they walk? Mm-hmm. I saw an old man. As soon as I walked in, out of my peripheral, I saw an old man hunched over, shuffling, and I stopped and I looked like, okay, what was that?
Wow. Huh. Wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was interesting.
That's very interesting. That building is it's very interesting. I don't think we had a whole lot going on when I was there with John Ward and Marcus Hogg and Hillary Ward and and some other people, and that was a really cool place. And I'll tell you what, they say that there's like people are buried, like there's a cemetery there, but they say that they found, like when they did the ground penetrating radar, they had like circles, and so it's like the tops of people's heads, so people are like standing. They buried people standing, supposedly. I don't know. That to me is crazy. Did they like really do that back in the day? I don't know. I wouldn't put it past them, but that seems like a lot of effort. That's a deep hole, man.
It's a very deep hole. If anybody ever buries me like that, they better flip me over.
Right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. That Brian Baum said it was a very active location. Very. There's one bathroom. There's a lady in a tub there. That honestly was that's the thing that stuck with me the most when I was there. This lady in the tub. And if I go there again, it'll probably be something else. But this is the first time I met this lady in the tub, and it was just just a lady in a tub, and she's stuck there. I think she committed suicide in there, and sure, she's just like laying there in the tub. It's if you go there and you feel it, let me know, because I'm telling you,
in the tub.
There's a lady in the tub.
I have an experience. So I've done 37 investigations, and seldom do things happen to me, and it's not a complaint. If I had my choice, I'd rather other people experience it, because that's what matters to me more. So last night, I wake up, and it was like a pounding noise. And as I started to get recalibrated, it was as if someone was dropping a tennis ball. Okay. And it had to be close to my bed. Right? Because it was like almost like under the bed or right in front of the bed. Okay. So I sleep with my fiance and my 2 poodles. But if you dropped a tennis ball, it would go pop, 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 pop. Imagine water dripping. Pop, pop, pop. It was almost methodical. Very, very strange. It woke me up. It was 3:20 in the morning. Okay, right around 3:20, 3:22. Because of course, the first thing an investigator does is listen, and then of course it stopped after I got up and I heard it 2 more times, and then it just stopped. I looked over, and Julie, who never wakes up for anything, woke up to this sound too. We checked. The dogs were sleeping, and then of course she went and peed, and I whipped out my phone and I wrote everything down, as a good paranormal investigator would. And this morning, I just went back to bed. I said, that's creepy. That's weird. But I'm just going to try and go back to bed. She wakes up, and as we're getting ready for work, she looks under the bed, and there's a tennis ball. And it's the strangest thing. And I can't fit under the bed. My poodle Frankie could barely fit under the bed. But it was as if someone dropped it from some height, caught it, dropped it, caught it, dropped it, caught it. It was like so methodical. And it was loud enough to actually wake us up because the fan was going and everything, but it was the strangest thing. And nothing ever happens to me, so I had to put that out there.
I got like 1,000 questions.
Okay.
I just mean, when I hear something like that, do you live in a house or an apartment?
Oh, I own my home, yes.
Okay. What kind of heat do you have?
I have a heater.
What kind of furnace do you have?
Gas,
a new one.
Forced hot air? Is it
a gas one?
It's gas forced hot air.
Gas forced hot air. Okay. Because like here in the apartment I live in, we have steam heat. And my wife, we would hear this rhythmic banging. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Come to find out, it's the heat. And because the temperature went from the 70s and we had the rain and it dropped, things were kicking on. It's like, okay, so that explains that. But I always look for the most logical explanation, even with everything I believe, everything I've experienced, the way I was raised. I want to find logic.
Yeah.
And when logic doesn't answer the question, okay. Now, you got a ball under your bed that not even your dogs can get under your bed. You know, could it have rolled under there? Yeah, but where did the sound come from? Everybody's asleep. So
yeah, and
it's interesting.
And it was almost hollow, right? Because when you like throw a tennis ball at the ground, you can distinguish between like the hollowness of the tennis ball.
Right.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like the sample size that we lived there for over 1.5 years. When we moved in, we got a new heater, and of course, it could just be the whole serendipity of it that the heater or something else could have made that noise, but we've never heard anything like it before. It was very interesting.
I asked about the heater just because of due diligence.
Oh no, it's
basically. Good. But if you've never heard that sound before, yes, it could have happened. Maybe the heater has a problem. I've had that happen too.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry, I tried to mute. I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's just due diligence. There's lots of other questions, but the fact that the ball's under the bed is interesting.
Yeah, it's cute, right? It's one of those things where it's like, let's go.
What does your fiance think of
it?
Maybe somebody was trying to play with one of the dogs and get their attention.
Maybe. Julie, it made her sick when she looked under the bed and saw the tennis ball. Julie doesn't like paranormal stuff. But she's supportive. She'll go get him, Bri. Go get him.
She supports you.
Bring it home. Just don't bring it home.
Correct. Protection prayers before and after, all good. Well, the funny thing is, we had some boxing training yesterday, and my good buddy whose house is haunted, he got kind of hurt. So we think he went home and told the ghost to come over here and, wake us up in the middle of the night. So I don't think he did though, obviously, but it was.
No, there's something in your basement. It probably came upstairs.
Well, not unless Julie's listening to the podcast, in which case it's the heater.
Yes, Julie, just turn off the podcast.
Yeah, Julie's not watching.
Just don't because I witnessed. It could have been. I don't know. It could have been a mouse. I guess. I don't know. I saw something. You either have mice or something crazy ran past me when I was in the bathroom down there. You have a good setup down there though. So you have it like separated, right? So you have that separated from your living space, and you do your prayers all the time. So it's very well. You take care of it well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's stuff. But you know what? Also, something could follow you from Walmart. What are you gonna do? Be scared of because you're scared of the supernatural, not go grocery shopping. It doesn't. It can happen anywhere. So you don't know what was there. Here's the thing about the Americas. Our land, before we were here, it was Native American land. And who knows what the land was used for. And also, here in the year 2021, who knows what was there even 100 years ago. Like my house was built on an old farm. Who knows what happened on that farm? I know that before that, this was Native American country. So there is a lot of Native Americans here. So who knows what kind of crazy history is here? So, that's like that everywhere. So you don't know. Spirit can follow you from anywhere. And honestly, some little kid could be like, oh, look at this nice person. They're going to help me. They have dogs. I'm going to go home and play with their dogs. Who knows what can attract them to you? But spirit could be attracted to you for no reason, any reason at all. And next thing you know, you have a nice little visitor for a couple days.
You want a quick, simple way to protect yourself in your home?
Yeah.
Very simple, very easy. I don't know what your faith is in. I don't know where your beliefs lie. Okay? Find a symbol that represents your belief, that represents your faith, so to speak. And if you don't have a faith, if you're an atheist, then just pick a symbol that represents protection and security for you. When you leave your home, do not do this on the inside of your home. Okay? You want things to be able to leave. On the outside of your home, above the door, on the door, around on each one of the windows that you can get to. If you're upstairs, even open a window and reach out. Draw the symbol with your finger using your energy, on the wall, cross, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And as you put that symbol, simply state something along the lines of, only love and light may enter. Only love and light may enter. Very simple, but it has to be something you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you only do this on the outside of your home in all of the portals, meaning doors, windows. Because that's the most common entrance. I mean, a spirit can pass through anything; it's energy.
Yeah.
But most things that were once human are going to come through a portal because that's what they're used to. So you do it on your portals, okay? Windows and doors, only on the outside. Because if you have things on the inside and you do it on the inside, you may trap things and they get pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to be able to go, but only love and light, or love, peace, and light, or whatever you want to say in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
You can say whatever works for you, okay? And whatever symbol, whether it's a cross, whether it's a star, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's what has a significant meaning to you. It can be a rune. I put runes all over my house. And nothing with malintent may enter. Only peace, love, and light may enter.
Yeah.
Now,
I
tell people the same thing. I say it could be a straight line. It doesn't matter as long as your intention is there and you believe what you're doing.
Yeah, you can do a circle with your line time.
Yeah, it could be anything. Literally, it could be the number one. It doesn't matter. Now, I do a cross, and I do it on the top of every threshold, but I do it on the inside of my house. But doing it on the outside, actually, that makes a whole lot of sense. Because you want things to be able to leave, right? You want things.
If you have something in your house that you're forcing out and you just blocked its way out, you don't want to do that.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna have to get a ladder or some shit. I don't know, but no, I have a tall house. But that definitely makes a lot of sense to do it that way. It's
very simple, it's very easy, and anybody can do it.
Definitely.
And that protects you. I do it to the cars. When we go to a location, on the windows, on every window in the car, I draw a little symbol. You cannot come home. Only peace and light may enter my vehicle.
Were you at RCI with EctoVision?
No.
Oh my goodness. We were there and we finished this investigation. And it was a really good investigation, actually. And it was a pretty crazy night sleeping. I wasn't in the room that Marcus was sleeping in, so I actually got a pretty good night's sleep. But just before I fell asleep, I saw a mist. I saw a shadow in the room that I was sleeping in. But anyways, we wake up in the morning, and there was a dead baby bird on the back windshield of my rental car that I drove down there. I was like, oh, I don't like this symbolism.
Ew, yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm like, I don't know if this is just like chance, that this baby bird just like fell out of the tree and happened to land because I was parked under a tree. So it could have happened, right? It could have, another animal could have got this thing and dropped it, right? There's so many different things. But the thing is it landed on my car. I'm like, this cannot be a good sign coming out of an investigation and then having any dead animal, but let alone a dead chick, for some reason really hit me in the wrong way. And so we freaking saged the shit out of my car, well, the rental car, before we drove home. Amber was definitely there for that. That was messed up. And that's actually brings me to another point. We did a test in that investigation where Amber and I were saged before the investigation. And that's true. Amber said we didn't see a nest. That's true. We didn't see a nest, but I don't know. Amber and I were saged before the investigation. Eric McGill was not. And Amber and I feel like, in my personal opinion, I feel like we got more experiences than Eric did. So, is it because that we're both sensitive, or did we set that intention with the saging that we did? So that was
personally, I don't know if I would be smudged before going in. The only reason I could see to do that is to make sure that I'm not carrying any energy that's lingering from elsewhere in with me. You know, when I'm going in kind of clean.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only reason I would do that. Coming out, absolutely smudge me. I don't want to bring shit home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that the intention was it's the same as like shielding. It's just another layer of like shielding before we went in. But I don't know. It's shielding it's an art, and it's something that takes a lot of practice, and it's something that takes the confidence. And honestly, I didn't have full confidence in my ability to shield until Brian and I went to Madison Seminary. We did our solos. Now I know. And I don't know if it showed at all, Brian, but that next investigation that we had after that, I was just like all gung ho. Like it was just, it's because, man, I knew it. It's like that gave me this level of confidence. Like, I know I don't need to do this extreme thing, but I know I can if I have to. So it's
Shawn, tell Chris what you did.
When?
Shawn's like, I've never done solo runs before, really.
No, Chris knows I don't like solo runs.
He had to do them blindfolded. I mean, what are you doing? Like, who makes you do that kind of stuff?
We were in Sarah's room at Madison Seminary, blindfolded with the RT on.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and like it was crazy. Like the whole time I was sitting there, I felt somebody standing at the doorway. Like there's two doors in the Sarah's room. There's a far door.
Right.
I felt something standing there, but for some reason it wouldn't talk to me. Oh man, that was very unnerving.
You remember what happened the last time I was in Sarah's room? Amber had her dowsing rods out. I had to leave the room.
Yeah.
I had to leave the room. Everywhere that I moved, the rods followed me.
Yeah. They did.
I went from one end of the room all the way back and all the way here. And anywhere I moved, the rods followed me. I had to leave the room and go down the hall. Goose comes walking down. I'm outside the hall.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I remember that. That was weird, man. I mean, why would the dowsing rods just be following you walking around the room?
It's my magnetic personality.
It's weird.
Okay, so Laura Holmes says there's black birds coming hitting windows at Shreve here. The Shrive here? There's a big black hawk nest with 5 birds.
Interesting.
I don't know. Here. Caitlin says it also helps to ground your own personal energy as well, so you interfere less with your own energy. Yeah, definitely. So, wow. Guys, real quick, I said I was going to talk about this. I just want to do this real quick because we're getting close to the top of the hour.
Mm-hmm.
There is RU Media has a really cool new project that David Wolliver is working on here, and I want where to go. here we go. This is the website, guys. This is to go to the Indiegogo. In here, let's check out this cool little video here. Yeah, so that's a cool little teaser video of what's to come. Man, how come it's not letting me go back now though? So this is a cool project that that he's putting together, and it's going to be a paranormal team. Here, there's a description here. There's going to be a team of investigators that are going to look into different types of phenomena. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a really expensive project. So he's looking for some backers. And that's what this campaign is about. So if you do $5, you get special thanks credit on the videos. If you donate or pledge $10, you get a sticker, and then you get. I'm assuming you would probably get, yeah. So you get the shout out video from the crew, and you get the sticker. $15, you get this really cool shirt. Actually, I like that shirt. I want it. That shirt alone is worth $15.
Yes, very true.
And then for a VIP supporter for only $50, then you get the T-shirt, you get the credit, and you get a team autograph, and you receive a special producer credit on the series. Ooh, that's interesting. And this is a new project, guys, so keep an eye out. I bet you that as time goes on, there will be more and more incentives to go as he goes on. But this is going to be a really cool thing. It's going to but things like this take a lot of money, and through supporters like us, things can happen. I don't know if anyone watches a whole lot of YouTube, but there's a guy on there. He's I can't think of his name now. Either way, there's this one YouTuber. He does these like weird like clips where he will go and he'll like clip himself as like a comedian piece into like news pieces. And he's like this awkward like nerdy like Comic-Con guy. And but anyways, this guy is now getting a movie because he started a website just like this, or a campaign just like this, and it's really kind of cool to see these projects come to life. So this is a really cool project, guys. Be on the lookout, support if you can, but really I don't know, I just wanted to let everyone know about this, and I put the link earlier in the show so everyone can go and check it out and be in the lookout. This is awesome. This is an awesome project. There's a lot of cool things. I was trying to get some information out of Oliver about it, but he's just not able to really say too much. But I did book him to come on the show, so we're going to get some sort of information. But it's going to be next month, and I don't mean April next month. It'll be next month in May. Actually, Cinco de Mayo he'll be on, so we can talk about it. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's cool. I hope I explained it well and did it justice, but it seems like a really cool project. So, with that, Chris, I know I have your team website going across the ticker here.
Yeah, just don't use the www. It's
Well,
just
the reason-
ompr330.com. That's it.
Does that work? See, that's the one thing I never knew about, because it's a Google website. What if they're using it off of a Google platform? Like, what if they're on like an app on an iPhone or something?
Hey, you can on the browser address bar, just go to ompr330.com.
Oh. Well, you should have corrected me before starting the show. There's my embarrassing moment that Brian was.
There you go.
Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story.
There's an issue with the website, so I just said to hell with it. I'm not going through all this.
It's actually a really nice website you guys have there. So you get to meet the team, and but yeah, so that's cool. Do you guys have anything else going on? I know you guys have the Parapsychon and the RCI-Con and the
FCI.
RCI, I said RCI. Oops.
Yeah, so did I. Yes, and Amber's going to correct it again. It's the FCI Con. It's Fairfield's Con, and then Mad Con. And I think those are the only three that we're doing, unless something else comes up. I don't know what's going to happen if restrictions get lifted and more people do stuff rather than last year where there was nothing.
Right.
And then we've just got the Fairfield investigation. We're doing Monroe House and Wellington. And I'm really interested. Wellington's, I didn't even know it existed. Amber showed it to me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, let's do this. So, and I don't even think they're open for investigations. I think they're opening it in May.
Really?
They're doing work on the place. So it's going to be literally like brand spanking new.
Oh, look, yeah, I wish I could have gone to that. But that one's like just... Oh, well, what are you going to do?
It'll be there.
Yeah. And they're going to need our help. So we'll make it there one day.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And let's see. Man, we got to, you know what we should set up sometime? We should set up one of our Spirit Valley, old school Spirit Valley, Cuyahoga Valley National Park.
That's something that we could actually do. We could have done that last year in COVID too, because it's outdoors at night. We could do it again.
We just do like a free, like whoever is interested. If we end up with like a really big crew, we can split up in two different ways, especially if we go to like Red Lock. One group can go over by Jate Paper Mill in that direction, and the other group can go towards like the Native American Fort, or even the Native American Fort is big enough. That area is big enough for more than one person. There's just so many cool places.
Actually, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we should definitely do something. I love it. That's like one of my, like Amber and I, we always get together at least once or twice a year. Chris, I know you come when you're able to. We always go and do these things. It's one of my favorite things to do at night. On a nice summer day, it's, I don't know. There's some really, really cool places that are very, very active. So, and yes, one of the areas is in the area of Helltown, but is it because of Helltown and the stories that are there? Probably not. But there are areas there that are pretty active. So there's a lot of cool areas that we can go to.
That was the first time I met Eric. You brought Eric when we were down there that one time. I think that was the first time I met Eric.
Was that the Helltown one, or was that the time when it was raining and we went to the...
Was he there for that?
He was.
Okay, well then that wasn't where Michael fell down the hill.
Oh,
my nephew was with us, and he slipped and rolled down a hill.
Yeah, I remember that. I forgot about that.
Okay, so that was.
Yeah. Hey, he's okay.
Oh, he's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, he came in.
He got up and laughed about it. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed.
He came and helped at the Hinsdale House with EctoVision.
It had his first experience there too. and now he's begging me to go out again. When are you going out again? When can I go? When can I go?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Oh, the hundreds of coyotes howling at Red Lock. Yes.
Didn't she just say that?
Yes. Oh,
She should have been. Remember the coyotes at Hinsdale? We were sitting around the fire.
Yeah. Oh, Hinsdale. Oh, that place is just. Oh man, I'm so excited for you, Brian. This place is awesome. This place is awesome. Hopefully, you get to experience one of the outs. What are they? Oh, why can't I think of the word right now? Come on, Chris, help me out. The elementals. There's definitely elementals there.
Amongst other things, yes.
Yes.
The elementals have no human emotion, no nothing. They don't react like we do. They're not like us at all.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I'm just excited to go. I mean, anything really. So
it's gonna be a good time. It's a good group of people.
Yeah,
it's an awesome location.
But you said they don't really act like humans because
they're not human. They never were.
Yeah.
You know what? We can make this happen because I know I know Mike's like bringing a sleeping bag. Shawn, I have a real one of my best friends. He's coming up April 10th. I can borrow the tent. We can.
I've got tents. I've got 2.
Or that we can camp outside if you really want.
I'm not sleeping outside. You can though.
No, Shawn. I mean,
I already did that.
If you really want to,
that's not even new for me. I already slept out there. I know what I don't know what it is, but I know that there's stuff that walks outside of your tent. Oh man, something big and heavy with hooves was walking.
That's a no.
Remember that, Amber? Yeah.
That's a no for me.
You just lay there. It's like one of those moments where I'm just gonna lay here and hopefully it just thinks I'm sleeping or doesn't know I'm in here or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's like the Skinwalker stuff where you're like, or Skinwalker Wendigo Jazz. I'm like, I don't know about that one, mate.
So if you're out there in your tent sleeping when you guys go to Hinsdale, stop and pick up
life insurance.
Stop and grab one of those loud horns. You know what I'm talking about? You hit the button. What?
Yeah. Like one of those foghorn things?
Yeah, like a foghorn. You know, the little canned foghorns?
Yeah.
And if you really start getting freaked out, hit the foghorn. If it's an animal, it's going to run off, and people inside are going to come out to see what the hell's going on.
That's a good point. We'll probably be pissed off for you waking us up, too.
I will personally not be upset if someone's in that kind of danger. You can wake me. I mean, I'm already used to
I was joking.
tennis balls. Yeah. Right. I know.
You know what's really cool about the Hinsdale House too? We got ghost cam.
Is it outside too?
Ghost cam? I don't think it's outside, but we got ghost cam. So we are going to get all of the footage from all of the HD security cameras that are inside the house from 3 p.m. until I think it was 6 a.m. Is that what they said? 6 or 7 a.m. while we're there.
If you guys have a camera that you can do it with, set one up outside.
I was thinking we didn't, and we should have. It's the thing is what's the weather going to be like? You know what? Actually, if it's okay weather, I think I have a camera that I'd be okay with if it were to get wet. I think I do. I have old cameras that, yeah, we can do that. We can make this happen. Ooh, Laura Holmes, I'd like to go to a ghost camp. That is actually something that Brian and I were talking about doing, a paranormal camp out. And there's a location that I talked to Brian about. That would be so cool. You go camp out for a weekend and you just explore haunted areas. So, yeah, that's really cool.
Hocking Hills.
Hocking Hills would be cool for that. There's Beaver Creek State Park. That would be cool for that.
Yeah. Down for anything. Shawn already knows.
What's that?
No, Shawn already knows that I'm just down for anything, so.
Always. He is. Oh, Kelly Parker, she wants to do a camp out.
I don't blame her.
Kelly's good people.
Yeah.
She's got a big tent and a pavilion, too.
Yeah, we should make something happen in 2021 or 2022, whenever it's convenient for you guys. We can make something happen.
We should definitely make that happen. I can at least come on like a Saturday. We can make it work. We need to make this happen.
Yeah, this is getting a little too intriguing. We need to do that.
We need to do it. We need to do it. That's where doing one of those camping trips. That's where this picture came from, that I showed earlier, from Bowman Cemetery. There, I downloaded it. That is from, we did it. It was at Beaver Creek State Park in Bowman Cemetery. And that was at a camp, paranormal camp out. Pretty Boy Floyd was gunned down there by the police. Pretty cool history around there. Oh, Kelly says she has a trail cam too. And Brian, I believe, has a trail cam.
I do have a trail cam.
The thing is about trail cams, they only turn on if movement is captured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's what you want. I mean, somebody's got to move to where the tent is.
Yeah.
There's going to be movement.
Yeah, I think my brother set up the hunting cam as like a static cam on that last investigation that we went on, and it was going off, and people were wondering why there was like a red light or the IR lights would randomly pop on. But I mean, that's you live and you learn.
Well, what happened was it was set up, and I had a camera that was on IR, so trail cam like would go for the video that I was taking every time I would move, and I was like, "What is that?" I didn't know if there's a trail cam there. So like, it took me a minute to realize that there was a trail camera.
Oh yeah,
that was set up there. So I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I mean, if there's movement around or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. But if that trail camera is definitely something I would set up where there aren't a lot of people, though.
Correct.
Especially if you're going to have inclement weather.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to worry about damaging a camera. You put a trail cam out.
Correct.
They should come out with a thermal trail cam. Trademark that before someone makes millions off of me.
Oh, trust me. It's already stolen. It's already gone. Don't even kid yourself, mate. Don't even joke.
Darn it, I need to keep my mouth shut, man.
Good jokes.
That's awesome.
But no one can do it as best as Shawn's thermal trail cams. we need a clever abbreviation, and we're going to hit the ball. We're running. So hit the ground running.
That's awesome. All right, guys. It is now 10:08. So
Chris, people obviously are in love with your stories, your beard, and your knowledge. Just the incredible wealth of knowledge. And if they're trying to get more of Chris, and if they're trying to enjoy more of your content, where do they find you, your team? Where's maybe one easy way to go?
The ompr330.com is one place to go, but Facebook. Amber and I are on that Facebook page every single day, multiple times.
Gotcha.
So that's probably the best place to hit us up.
Very good.
Look at that. OMPR.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a good-looking group.
That was MadCon last year. That was MadCon last year.
Yeah. Go find their cookies. You guys go to a con and they're there. I'm telling you, they're going to have cookies, and they're only $1, and they're freaking crack delicious. They're awesome.
They're crack delicious.
Yeah.
Are you seriously using those Gen Z terms like that, Shawn?
Is that a Gen Z thing?
Cracked, isn't it? Like, oh, you're talking like addictive crack?
Yeah. Well, is that talking about butt crack?
Oh, okay. Because like the Gen Zs are saying like you're cracked, as in like you're really good at something.
Oh no!
Oh,
Like it's like crack.
yeah. You know, I just dated myself in the process, so I'll stop.
Look at you, Mr. Gen Z.
No. I'm a millennial, and I can't keep up. I don't have a TikTok. I don't have anything. I don't part my hair in the center, whatever the trends are. I can't keep up. You know, I'm just left in the dust at the end of the day. So it is what it is.
I've got kids, man. I can't. Their words don't. Maybe our parents felt the same way about
most likely
our slang that we used. But some of the slang we used, we didn't want them to know. So that's probably all part of it.
Yeah.
But so everyone, go make sure to check out OMPR on the Facebook. Check out their website. Find them at the cons. I'm telling you, and also they make these really. Here, I have my my bear here sitting on this box. They sell these little boxes. This is the one I have. They sell ones that are a lot bigger than this. I actually keep my special stones in here.
Okay.
So these are. Wow, sorry. Whew. Those are my special stones.
Your special stones.
Yeah, special stones. Yeah. See, I just can't think, but yeah. Yeah. See, this one's kept in a little clear container. This one I wear if I want to. See the little green stone in there?
Yeah.
Here.
It's like dark green, right?
Yeah. Chris, do you know what stone that is? If I
can't see it that well. I'm guessing
it's an emerald.
Green. It's emerald or malachite.
It's
jade.
It's malachite.
Opal.
Oh, I can't. Damn it. I tried.
You tried.
But I have a white one too. These are from whenever you get your crystals, make sure you know and you trust where you're getting it from, because you hear stories of people getting fake stones. That's sad. You don't want that to happen. Make sure you trust and know where you're getting your stuff from. So with that, guys, I'm gonna wish you guys a very happy Wednesday. I hope that we helped you guys over this hump day and help you slide into the weekend and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Chris, for all your help, and it was a real pleasure.
Yeah.
Just opening with the voodoo doll. I mean, just from start to finish, very interesting concepts and very interesting topics. So very cool.
Chris is a wealth of knowledge. If you have questions about supernatural, about the occult, Chris is a good guy to go to. He's one of my first go-to people whenever I have a question. So
perfect.
Yeah. So thank you, Chris, for coming on. Thank you for hanging out with us. Definitely
Thanks
appreciate
for having me on.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Thank you, brother. All right, guys. So with that, we will actually see you guys next week. We have Brian. Do you know who our guest is next week?
It's Shawn.
Ooh. Is tomorrow April already? Wow.
It is.
Okay, so we have some guests coming from West Virginia Paranormal. So we're gonna have some people that honestly I haven't met them in person yet, but they have some cool YouTube stuff out there, and they're another cool paranormal team that we're gonna get to know. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, and Also, so then after that, we have Jeremy York coming on. And then on the 21st, we have Joshua from Attic Junkie Paranormal. He actually is the guy who made this bear here. This is a scare bear. That's what he calls it, a scare bear. Basically, it's a REM pod, but it's a little bear. So he's going to come on the show, and we're going to talk about his scare bear and his other things that he builds. So awesome. Be sure to check it out. All right, everybody.
I'm looking at my phone, and that thing just scared the shit out of
me. Well, I guess that's a good note to leave everybody on. Guys, make sure to stay in tune on RU Media Network and watch all the great shows every night, and even on Saturdays. Make sure to tune in. And with that, everyone, have a great one. Thank you so much for all of your support and watching here today.
Not everyone.
Moldavite. Thank you, Amber. I said Malachite. You're right. It's Moldavite. Oh, good morning to me. All right. Good night, everybody.
This paranormal adventure that we're all on, it connects us. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast with your host, Shawn Gilmore.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 10 years.
He was featured on the TV show Paranormal Survivor that airs on Travel Channel.
His passion is creating para-unity.
With your host, Brian Mursell.
He's worked in the paranormal field for 7 years.
He leads his own paranormal team.
He wants to help people start their paranormal adventure or grow their existing one. This is our paranormal adventure. This is our paranormal community. This is our paranormal podcast.
It's about supporting. It's about making para-unity a real thing, because we all need to support each other within our community. And that's what the show has always been about.